Welcome to the Berks Homes Podcast, the business of building homes. I'm Katie. I'm here with my brother Ben, and we have a lot to talk about. We don't know how the past 4 months have just flown by, and we haven't been sitting here, so that's probably where we should start.
If I asked you how long it's been since we did a podcast, what would you say?
Well, I said 4 months. Is it even longer than that?
No. I think it was 4 months. But I mean, if I asked you without knowing.
6 weeks.
That's what I would say. Something like that.
That's how.
2 months max.
Yes, that's how fast time has moved.
Yeah.
Over since February. Yeah.
So why have we not done a podcast in 4 months?
Well, from my perspective, I haven't been able to do anything except work.
Yeah.
And not even have any fun.
Right.
Because this to me is a little bit of a fun, You mean
break. Creative.
Yes.
Right.
That's a better way to say it. Mm-hmm.
So just so everybody knows, Katie has always been the one to come up with the content and, kind of the outline of what we're going to talk about. Obviously, you're not getting that from me. So because she took over the responsibility of our land team this winter, and it's just a lot more management. So you're trying to get the processes tight, how you want it, and then hand it off to a future leader.
Someday.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But it's going really well, and I'm enjoying it. So, there's not an end in sight right now.
So that's why we haven't been doing the podcast. And I think obviously it's a worthy cause because work always is important. And so looking forward, what do you think is going to happen now?
Well, what's exciting is we have a volunteer to help us with that content creation, the ideas, and even some of our new things that we want to do with getting more guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
We had a great time bringing people in from the company and hopefully outside the organization in the future. That was really great. A lot of people enjoyed learning a lot more. I did too. Anytime we bring somebody in, it connects the dots a little differently for me. And so we want to do a lot more of that, kind of expand who we have on the podcast. And Brandon, our fearless podcast leader, has stepped up and said he'd be willing and excited to help us interview and come up with some things. So you're going to be seeing a lot more from him as well. And
the man behind the camera. Normally.
Correct.
Yes.
I guess we haven't seen him in front of the camera yet. Just you wait, guys. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, that's what is to come. You'll still be seeing us and hearing us in these two seats. We still have plenty of things to talk about, but you'll be seeing and hearing from a lot of other people too.
So what's changed in the last 4 months?
In terms of the company?
Everything.
Yeah. I think we have sold a lot of homes, first of all.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
Settled a lot of homes also. We really, started out this year slow. We had a rough winter.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general.
So cold.
So cold, so much snow.
Yeah.
But came out of that really strong and against all odds, all economic odds. And it's going, better than expected from my thought
better
process.
Than a lot of years, even great years that are looking back historically, it's always really come around in the fall and everything. And Pennsylvania's been really good.
Yeah.
Just the market, like we're fortunate to have a lot of stability here.
Yeah.
Compared to the national market. We're operating more like a Midwest market
We'll
than
take that.
The Northeast in general. So it's been really good. And we're like right on business plan now.
What was crazy, and I'm saying we started out slow, by end of Q1, we were 30 settlements behind our projected budget, our plan. As of June 30th, as of today, we are one ahead.
You mean the end of this month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we just look at our scheduled settlements through Q2, as of today, we're ahead by one of our plan. Yay.
And most home builders will tell you, like volume home builders like us, generally, you're not even making money until the summer a
Mhm.
lot of times. And so first quarter is typically, you can on paper look at like a loss. And, where we're at now is much further ahead than normal
Mhm.
in terms of that. But
And Q2,
yeah.
Q3, we are also one ahead.
Yeah.
So
yeah. As of today.
of today. So anything that we sell and settle that will hit Q3 in terms of settlements is ahead of plan,
Right.
which gives us a cushion for Q4, which I don't know if we've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows in our business is like crazy, push at the end of the year, just getting people in their homes before Christmas, before New Year's. And it's just stressful.
Yeah.
To everybody.
Right.
So it's exciting. That's been happening, and we have a lot of people to thank for that. But you've been focused on land.
Yes, very.
Right. And what are you seeing out there?
I am amazed at the amount of opportunity there is. There are so many leads in land. I didn't know that. I didn't know how many people have land that come to us. It's just a lot of...
In all forms.
And every channel, they'll call Kelly, our OSC. They'll end up on our main line that just leaving a message. They come in through connections. Oh, this guy called Mike Pavey or, whoever gets a call and says, hey, I have this land. Do you guys going to look at it? And then our developer partners, which is probably where we get our best opportunities, is when we have someone that we have an established relationship with that does a great job giving us finished lots. And we have a lot of that going on too. So I think that has been really surprising to me. Then the second surprise is how long it takes to convert on them.
You're like, oh, we're getting in this race car.
Yes.
And then idling on the tarmac.
Yep.
Or I shouldn't say race car, plane, Learjet, whatever. And then you're just sitting.
Just going to wait there for a couple years.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a test of your mental fortitude.
I'm not known for my patience.
Yeah.
So to learn the new time warp that land is, like home building is like day by day. You just have to turn things.
In a lot of ways, there's so many uncontrollable things in home building even, but you still have a measure of control over the process.
Yeah.
So, you can't necessarily 100% control your subcontractors and their timelines, but you can control it most of the time. In land, it's like you can't exert a lot of control over that process.
Nope.
There's way too many outside influences.
There's, you said I'm working on setting up processes and things like that. And the templates that we have attempted to put in place to manage land timelines, deals, all of that. I am now being, how sometimes in movies, oh, sweet summer child, no.
Just that's adorable. You're going to get that done in 3 weeks. No.
Or why do you don't even bother with a checklist? We need 5 high-level milestones. Move on with your life.
Yeah. Did you have a checkbox for the thing that happens on a community every 6 years?
Exactly. Right.
But it's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have like a 1,000-point checklist.
Which we have. And now it's like, okay, so what do you do with this? How do you actually use it in a functional way?
Get bored reading the whole thing that doesn't seem relevant.
Because it's different on every single project. So
fascinating. But you're trying to hack it a little bit.
100%.
Right? Wherever you can. Speed things up.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is when the downturn happened in 2007, 8, 9, whatever, a lot of home builders like us, we decided we don't want to touch raw land with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Too much risk.
Yep.
Values can drop. So don't want to do that. We want to stick to home building.
Yeah.
That was great for a long time. In theory, if you want to be risk-free, not risk-free, but less risky, that's a good strategy.
Yep.
Only to a certain point, though.
Yes.
Right? There's just not enough to feed the machine of
Mm-hmm.
a company of our size. So
Mm-hmm.
we too develop land
Yes.
selectively.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Right? So we do a pretty good job of understanding what it looks like from a builder's standpoint, because that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
If you're a good developer, it's because you understand what the end user is and what they need. So we should be really good developers.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting to me is seeing how there is a shift, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's not just us. There's a lot of other builders doing this as well, to really try and jam their pipeline full of all the different types.
Yes. Well, you have to.
Yeah.
There aren't enough people developing anymore.
Yeah.
And there aren't enough finished lots. Everyone chewed through all of them.
Yep.
So the only way to add is by doing some yourself, by partnering with other people, by grabbing something for the future.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes.
Because it takes so much longer than it used to. And so it's every single combination of filling up the pipeline. It's not just getting finished lots.
Sure.
That doesn't exist anymore. And I don't think I'd be shocked to see it again in my lifetime.
Right.
Unless
who knows?
I figure out operationalizing land
right.
to a different degree than I'm expecting.
Well, I think that just to sum that whole thing up, like that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do what we do best on the vertical construction side for land. How can we make it a manufacturing process to a certain degree?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need a little bit of help from certain government entities at some point to make it a little more streamlined.
Yeah.
Because, I wish I knew the number. How many municipalities do we operate in?
Oh, I have no idea.
40, 50?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like municipalities mean boroughs, townships, whatever. They are all different.
Every single one.
And we only work in Pennsylvania currently. So the neighboring municipalities, literally there's a line in between and their offices are 10 miles apart. They could operate completely differently.
We have a community that has some homes in one township and in
Deerfield.
Another, yes. And the
line goes right through the community.
And the way that it's treated in the different sides is totally different.
And then they don't even know, those two municipalities, who gets to dictate certain things.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
It's terrible.
It's fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are the same leaders that are saying we need affordable housing fast.
Right.
It's like,
help us out, guys.
It's not us.
Right.
It's not us.
We're waiting for you.
Right. So land is a big thing. What else are you doing?
A lot of the support side, working through all the HR, legal, finance, accounting, all that stuff. Yeah.
And it kind of does tie in nicely now that you have land, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you already had the legal and accounting team reporting to you. So kind of is nice where they're so important to the land team.
Oh, it has been a huge help to incorporate it all together, from the contract through the pro forma, through everything is now all kind of tied together instead of siloed. Yeah. Which is been really helpful on pushing the land processes through, honestly.
Right. And then our next greatest challenge is to make it seamless to run into operations.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
That's going to be the hardest thing to make super consistent, and really where we can stand out as, a developer for ourselves is how do we make it so our land team, which isn't part of the operations team,
right?
How can we communicate even better than a developer can with our operations team?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that'll be really exciting to get a bunch of those projects that we've been working on transitioned over to the ops team in a seamless way.
And that, I'm glad that you went there. To be clear, I haven't even turned my focus on that piece of the puzzle yet. It's been, hey, acquisition is number one. Unless we have our pipeline full, there's no point in doing anything else because we
Right.
need to
Stay ahead of it.
stay ahead of it. So that is really cranking through right now, the
Yeah.
acquisition side. So sooner than later, we'll get to move into more of the developer piece of it.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone thinking that that has any, nothing's really happened yet.
Oh, no. Well, and Steph, she led the land team for a little bit.
Mhm.
So she has enough knowledge to be dangerous on the acquisition side.
100%.
And now,
She set it up for success.
yeah, and that's part of, what's been going on too. Steph was promoted
Yeah.
to COO, our VP of sales, as of June 1st, which is very exciting. Now she can lead the charge on our end, the ops end, to, say, hey, let me help you. Let me kind of dictate what we feel like the process should look like.
Yes.
Because we're the customer.
Mhm.
And if we work with a great developer, it might look like this. Let's try and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And then you guys can just do it.
Yes.
So it's not something that you really have to design.
Tell me what to do.
Right.
Love it.
So Steph, who has been doing a really great job of connecting departments in general over the last few years, her new role is, she took my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting because she's very good at understanding other departments' processes enough to bring them into how they connect to her departments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a skill set. I don't know how you teach it. I don't know how you acquire it. There's a lot of curiosity involved, that kind of thing. But that's a skill set she has that ultimately strengthens the whole process.
Home building from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, being really strong in the sales end, coming from the sales side, her main focus is customer experience.
Right.
And so she believes, as we do, everybody has a little piece in the customer experience, even if you never talk to them.
Yep.
So this little thing over here that is land, it actually might have something to do with the customer experience in her mind.
Yep.
And not might, it does.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So she'll tell you till she's blue in the face. That's her passion, is the customer experience, because that drives our results.
Exactly.
If we have happy customers, then we're all going to be happy.
Mm-hmm. So that is a great segue into what does that mean for you?
Yeah, so it is exciting. It's a little humbling because I've said this to you privately, but you have to admit that you look at somebody and you're like, they're probably going to be better at my job than I am, which is exciting. I also think on the flip side, it's like what you always dream of. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a leader in any capacity, being able to, I am not taking any credit for developing Steph. She was full-blown already who she was when she started working for me. But to see that you can actually have somebody that reports to you that you think is a great candidate for your job,
is
the promotion.
Dream.
It is a dream. And what's really cool, I mean, at different levels, we have had those circumstances. And the worst thing to happen is you need to figure out what you want to do then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, we're in a unique spot because most people don't know how many little things that we have to do on a daily basis that has nothing to do with our job within the company.
Correct.
Being an owner.
Yes.
So
someone needs to be a real owner here.
Yeah, somebody needs to.
We nominate you.
Yeah. Well, but we both do it.
Yeah.
We both do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of things that you're just like, sometimes you feel like you're just answering questions all day or signing things. And I mean, that's so minimal, but like the amount of administrative requests that I get on a daily basis could be a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so there's some cleanup on that kind of stuff to be efficient, but that's just a real thing. You know, when something happens to the sign in the front of the office and, you know, the facilities manager says, hey, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to replace it as is? It's your building, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's everything. Do you want to get a new generator for the I mean, all those things. We have somebody to take care of it, but ultimately they don't want to make decisions on behalf of us.
And somebody needs to know what happens collectively when you say yes or no to each one of those things.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be keeping track of, well, I said yes to the generator. I probably shouldn't replace the sign out front because that's going to be another $5,000.
Yeah, whatever, like there's just, anyway. So there's that piece, which again, that's not enough to be overwhelmed by. It's just Steph has a great handle on what's really important about operations, which is we have a business plan, we need to execute it, and then pulling the strings to do so. And
improving it over
improving
time.
it. The way my brain works is very entrepreneurial.
Right.
And I care a ton about the people, but I'm not so good at getting into their business and figuring out how I can help them on every little detail. It just overwhelms my sense of creativity and sucks the life out of me.
But what you are good at is connecting with people. Like you said, people are important to you.
Right.
And so this gives you another opportunity to really help me.
Right. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've had about 12 phone calls and meetings with land stuff and all kinds of different people, because I usually just say no to everything.
Because
I just say no.
You couldn't.
That's my default.
You didn't have time. But now this is your year of yes.
Right. Yeah. I just like to say no. Do you want to grab lunch? No. I just say no. I'm good at that generally. But now it's also, there are things that we've committed to just not pursuing because people are weird and they just say, I only want to talk to the owner.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to work with somebody that is like that. That was my perception. And now it's like, okay, well, I can do that. I can talk to them.
Right.
And it's just, you understand after you talk to some of these people why that's not necessarily they're not being a prima donna. It's just when they work with anybody just like us, it's a big deal to know where your investment is, like the hands it's in. And it's like, I could talk to somebody that works for the organization, but how invested are they?
Are they going to be a good partner?
Personally into this project?
Yeah, exactly.
You might want to talk to, one of the people that it's their money.
Exactly.
And it just is, sometimes it's different, sometimes it's not. And I kind of put everybody into the box of like, I'm not actually going to be able to help you as much as the person in my organization because it's not my job. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
So I just thought it was just like, I don't know. I didn't think it was important in some regard. But
it just flipped the entry point a little bit. So instead of it going through someone to you, now it goes through you first and then you do the handoff.
And that's fine. So there's a lot of me helping on the land side. And then there's the strategy stuff that somebody's got to do.
Yep.
Right? Now, I have a great partner in Steph who understands the way I think and can kind of like curate for me some of the things that she feels like needs my attention or not.
Right.
Everything can filter through her. So we're really good now at being efficient talking about things. But she's a great partner on strategy and execution.
Yeah.
So I can run things past her. When did Matt Entrican get promoted?
I think the beginning of the year, January, February.
Okay, so that's another thing that changed a little bit since mostly since we last talked. Matt's been doing a phenomenal job he's our, I don't even know what his title is.
Product pricing manager.
Matt's in charge of understanding the market wherever we build.
Yes.
Point blank. So on the front end with land and also down to each home, each community, price levels type of thing. And he's been doing an awesome job. So that has lifted a little bit of the burden off of some of the boots on the ground sales managers and staff to try and understand that. Now we have a guy who's very gifted in understanding the market. And I'm partnering with him a little bit on some of these land projects to understand things. And he always gets to the granular level at each place we go. So that's great. I have a real passion for purchasing.
Yeah.
Right. So purchasing is always an opportunity to be more efficient, save money. in this market where costs are rising, we're seeing like anywhere upwards of 2% of our, revenue is at risk compared to 12 months ago.
Yep.
So you have to be really laser sharp on these things. So I'm hoping to do some purchasing projects and really, really drill down into our processes there, among other things. But mostly we got to continue to get our land pipeline full. I'm trying to sell some apartments that we have. That's not been my favorite thing to do. Hopefully that'll be off my plate soon. And then, whatever you need me to do, boss.
It's been just a delight to work together on something. I don't think we have had the chance to actually do
not much. Not since we were inputting data into our first ERP.
Yeah, exactly.
2003,
with the
4.
most epic purchasing and estimating team that existed here.
Yeah. Yeah,
just you and I.
Just us.
Yeah, so that's been really very interesting to collab on some of this stuff. I'm learning a ton on the things that I knew from a really high level.
Yeah.
Just understanding the why behind some of the reasons we make some decisions. It's, steal your phrase, it's been humbling. I feel like all I've done in the past 2 years is learn again.
That's kind of cool, though.
It has been. I love it because I couldn't ask for anything better in my life to learn new things, But it's also challenging not to really know 100%, not to turn your brain off ever. Every once in a while I'm like, can I just be good at something again without thinking?
But, I do think... Not to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
there is this period of time where everybody assumes that you might know everything about a certain thing. Whatever that is, like you've been in an industry for 10 years kind of doing the same thing. But there's a point in time where it actually goes backwards. Because
you're not challenged, you're not learning and changing with
and
it.
You're not actually doing the thing. Like I'll give you some examples. Like when I go out to a job site and I look at something and I'm like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's wrong
anymore.
I don't know. We might be doing it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody called me, they would 100% assume that I know exactly what it is.
Like what our scopes are now.
What our scope of work is.
Yeah.
Who installs that? Who does it? I don't know all that stuff.
Anymore.
Yeah. I could have told you what it was 20 years ago.
Yep.
My point is, you even assume that you know.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, that's a good
There's
point.
an opportunity to learn within your expertise every day. Like our superintendents know.
Yeah.
Because they're learning the new thing every day.
As it happens.
Right? So I'm just saying it's all about mindset.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get away with knowing just enough to be dangerous. But taking the standard MO of I don't know everything is always the best approach.
Yes.
Because then people are aware, like
don't rely on me.
Expect me to be an expert in everything. Yeah. I'm still learning too. But it is exciting when you can, but you have to make yourself aware of that up front and be like, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, I've been in home building my whole life and I never learned about the land side. So I'm learning too.
Yeah.
Right? It's also the best way to make it better. There's no baggage.
I mean, you're just stumbling into it because you're asking why.
Yeah. And you said to me a couple times, like, is this normal? And I'm like, yeah, it's normal. And you're like, well,
I don't think it should be.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? That's the way it is. And it's like, and then I catch myself being like, yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be that way. It's stupid.
Right.
I just accept it because that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
It should be half the time. Why did we not try that? That's why I think it's better to be in that spot.
That's how we landed here.
Yeah.
Is that you brought that up.
Yeah, I don't think I would have had the drive to make it better because I'm so jaded.
Right.
From being in land all this time.
Exactly.
And it's like, I think it's much better to learn from scratch.
To
because-
challenge.
Yeah, because think about it. Like, we'll just use Steph as an example. She never ran the construction department.
Mm-hmm.
She's never done that.
Right.
That doesn't mean she's not qualified to run operations,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
It's just she'll learn what she needs to understand to manage that department very quickly.
Right.
She already knows.
Yeah.
Because she's been in sales. So she's just observant. Now, some people don't care to understand, and that's different.
Yes.
She has always cared to understand. So she will know enough to manage that side of the house very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about your mindset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anybody can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes are often the most capable
Mm-hmm.
leaders, even if they don't know something.
Yeah. Again, it's how you think about it and how you apply that then
Right.
to the role. Yeah.
So what's next?
What's next is continue to improve on everything that we're doing. I think that that's kind of, we're in the refine stage. We've pretty much stabilized where we're at with our structure, with our executing on plan. You know, so now, you know, as the second half of the year is looming ahead of us, we're going, okay, what were our 5 big goals? How do we get to the point where each one of those is at that really refined level for the second half of the year? We kind of got the structure in place, the momentum going, and now it's like, are we playing as one team? What does that look like?
Sure.
Are we, you know, protecting and growing our profit? What does that look like at each level? So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's from my perspective what the rest of the year looks like to me. What about you?
No, I think we have a great opportunity to have a ton of momentum building on, you know, and we've talked about this. It's June. I'm thinking about 2027.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this year is.
We did it. Good job.
Yeah. Sounds crazy.
I know.
Most people were like, we haven't even hit Black Friday yet. And it's like, no, we're not in retail.
Right.
Like this is my favorite part of the year in terms of our business is the summer because it's the hardest selling season, but also you have the most opportunity because you have all this data that says what our settlements are going to be.
Yeah.
You half baked, mostly pregnant. But you do have a couple months right now. We have about a month.
6 weeks.
Yeah, we have about a month for sure, maybe 6 weeks for pre-sales to really
5 weeks.
Yeah, affect the business plan for this year. So I love that challenge of it's not nebulous anymore. You can't really say that in March. You can't say that in May. But you can
shouldn't.
you can show the sales reps this is your opportunity to make an impact.
Yeah.
And it's also like one of the hardest months to sell. January or June and July.
Yep.
These 2 months. So
we believe in you.
I love that aspect. But yeah, 2027 is what we're looking at. And you always want to, in a perfect world, set yourself up in any business to start really well. So I want to do whatever we can to start next year really well and really build out our pipeline a lot more and see where this goes. Who knows? I mean, I don't even know what the headlines are anymore because there's like no correlation to people buying homes in our specific areas if they're priced right and what's happening in the world.
Yeah. It's real tough to catch a pattern anymore.
Yeah. And I don't know. So I'm doing the crystal ball thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's pretty good catch up, pretty good look ahead.
So we're still going to try and do once a week ish.
Yeah.
And it's going to be you and I, you and somebody else, or me and somebody else, and Brandon and somebody else. So, but consistency will be our motto moving forward.
Thank you, Brandon, for keeping us in check here. I appreciate that.
And as always, you can email Katie or I about ideas for not just podcasts, but videos on site, in here, at any of the offices, topics that you'd like to hear.
Yeah, what do you want to know? What do you want to see more of?
Right. Or, highlighting a certain coworker, like that guy would
Yeah.
be awesome to talk to. Or if you just want to be a host, that'd be cool too. Yeah, you can
Bring
take
us-
my spot.
Work us out of a job.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Theme of the day.
So, all right.
Mhm.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
See ya.